Alright everyone, welcome back to more Summertime Rendering. Episode 3. Pretty excited. Hopefully my OBS and my camera and my mic don't screw this thing up, because last time I recorded a reaction, which was a movie reaction, everything just falls apart and I lost that reaction. So hopefully this is not the case. But anyway, Summertime Rendering, we are back. Last episode was a lot of things happened in the last episode. So we got basically confirmation about some of the things that I was mentioning about Ushio basically, being able to communicate with Shinpei whenever he dies, and then like basic stuff like, we don't know who to basically trust, because anybody can be a shadow at this point, and that's the fun of it, right? It's the mystery and it's the tension part of this show. It's figuring out which person to trust, which person to not trust, and figuring out what the hell is going on with this shadow business, right? And also the idea of like, when Shinpei goes back in time, how much can he go back in time, and like any repercussions to it, any rules to the time travel, to the loop and whatever. Maybe this episode can confirm it, maybe not. All I'm just saying is, if you want more of my thoughts and opinion on the story so far, go watch my discussion for episode 2, because I talked a lot in that discussion. Speaking of discussions, some of you have made a comment on my previous episode discussion, and so far what I can say is, let me just show it up right here. So far, one of the biggest concerns about this show in general, at least from some of you, is the pacing and how much this adaptation is going to go. So we already have confirmation from like the showrunners a long time ago that yes, this is going to cover all of the manga chapters. This is going to be a complete adaptation. However, it is only going to be 2 cores, so about 24 episodes, I believe. And it runs into the problem of well, how much are they actually going to cover, how much they actually are going to cut, and how much is that going to affect the story overall. So far, as an anime only who is watching the show, my only problem would be the pacing. Sometimes the pacing can be a little bit too fast, but other than that, it has been a pretty enjoyable ride so far. I think so far it has been pretty good, but again, only 2 episodes in, right? But another comment that was posted, and this was like less than a day ago. So shout out to Andy Uno, who has said, like, he doesn't know much about Japanese mythology. Like I said again in my previous episode discussion, I don't know if there's any like Japanese mythological influence when it comes to the shadow, like if there's any Japanese folklore or whatever, but he does gave me a link about the concept of shadow that I find interesting. So this is a Wikipedia link, but it's an interesting read, to say the least, about the idea of like an exact replica doing exactly the things that you do, but it doesn't really know anything or whatever. But yeah, it's a fun read. I would definitely recommend you just checking it out just a bit. It's from Donald Davison, who was a philosopher. It definitely correlates and definitely reminds me a lot of the things that is happening in the show right now. So shout out to Andy Uno who gave me that, because good stuff. Anyways, I think I've talked for quite a bit already. I have, wait a minute, I have the episode up and ready to go. So if you want to watch the full, how do I do this? If you want to watch the full episode, you can, obviously. First of all, the YouTube version is a timer-based reaction right now, so there's gonna be a timer, and then all you have to do is just sync up your own footage, or you can just watch the full uncut reaction. Links are in the description below. And last but not least, if you do want to support me, you can go to Patreon. That's the only way to support me right now. You can get early access to most of the shows that I am currently doing right now. Summertime Rendering is not included in that early access tier, however, because I kind of feel bad for putting this show on, on Patreon, despite the fact that the show is already blocked in most countries because of Disney jail. So yeah, anyways, again, full uncut reactions are linked in the description below, and if you want to watch the full episode with me on YouTube, you have to have your own footage to sync it up with the timer. So anyways, if you do enjoy the reaction and the discussion, hit the like and subscribe as always, and yes, let's watch the episode. Some of these camera shots, these angles. Yeah, problem is Shiori's already she's already a shadow. Hmm. Hmm. If Shiori is not a shadow already, I will be quite surprised, because I'm pretty sure she is already the shadow, considering what happened in the previous episode. You know, with the flash and everything. I think it's pretty obvious that that was coming from Shiori. I also have a version of this episode that has the lyrics for the opening and the ending, which I'll probably watch after this episode ended. Reflections, fast cuts, stories closed, just like what I forgot the officer's name. I don't trust you. Nice shot. Mm, trouble. Whoa. Food is still there. That's a real video. Okay. Now the question is the food warm or not? Yeah. as expected. This is cool. Talking to himself. I mean, like the visualization of talking to oneself. Hmm. I wonder if if the video that was playing was like from somewhere. Darkness, shadows everywhere. Whoa. Wow, the tension. Love that cut. The rim light around her. Dude, just accept your yeah. The sound design. Wow. Great scene. The tension, the build up. Really well done. I guess we can trust Xiaomi for now. Yeah, you should have went there first. Yeah, you came to the dock and not on the boat. Yeah. Of course. Of course. Whoa, wait, whoa. Wait, so how does... Wait a minute. Nah, the time loop is messing with me right now. I'll 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 keep that in mind for a bit. Nah, it's still bugging me. So okay. A detective. I wonder who he is referring to. Oh, Oshios? Ah, yep. Judging from their reaction. Ah, okay. Interesting. As if she knew. Hmm. Who this? No, don't. So never. How does he know? Okay. But how do you came to the conclusion of the shadow? I don't know. This. So could you? Yeah, exactly. This scene is the way this scene is playing out. It's kind of painting So in a way that he could be a shadow, and they're blocking him in that shot as well. I mean, the show is doing a really great job in making the audience question, like who is who, and definitely pumping up the tension. Karikiri, the old dude. The poster that we saw about a few minutes ago. Ooh, In- Interesting that they are using Mesopotamian terms there, like the two rivers and everything. I don't either. What do you want to look at exactly? See, that's like that's just making it more and more untrustworthy. Interesting. 2018. Stay forever, like in a time loop. And now she gave. So I'm assuming in whatever timeline we are in whatever loop we are in, some events will still happen regardless. So the seashell, Mio potentially showing her panties. But now we're getting more and more, progress, right? We got a phone, we got the seashell back, plus we are like a day. We passed the day where he was supposed to die in the first episode. Her name is Toki. Why are they zooming in on her? I cannot trust anybody in this show. Okay. Nothing special? Come on. Sus. I still don't trust him. So is also wearing like a dark gray. You know. Oh, interesting. Romantic feelings? How do you know? Weird to ask in this moment, but okay. As family. Ooh, ooh, that that little reaction from Mio. What? What? Is it because of his eyes? Mio is still like unsure of what to think after his answer. I mean, it's obvious that it's probably the shadow luring him out. Like, come on. Is she wearing clothes? Oh, just the swimming suit. Beautifully done. Beautifully animated. Love the lighting. Huh. Wow. What a shot. Um, was a pretty good episode. I wouldn't say that not much has happened in terms of information. I mean, yeah, we progressed the story further in this episode, right? We got some new information, we got some new questions, and definitely some questions, you know, as you are looking right now. But aside from like question and everything, like uh yeah, it's a pretty good episode. Let's go back to the beginning, and I just want to compliment some of the direction, especially the layout, the camera angles, the way some of these shots are like framed. I really enjoyed them. I think they're great. Like some of these shots here, where it's just some quick cuts of reflection, time, right? Things that correlate to essentially the shadow and, the concept of, of oneself and their other self as well. Also here, more reflections again. Wait a minute, where is it? Somewhere around here. There's some quick flashes, some quick cuts right there. Yeah. Great shot again. Love it. And so far, 3 episodes in, and I think that the direction of this show has been really solid. The director has done a really great job. I mean, as expected from someone who is a veteran in the industry, right? Who directed the Children of the Sea movies and and Komi-san in like last season. Great stuff. Again, great cinematography. I don't know where this is from. This video that is being played. I don't know. I may have to look it up. But if you do know, let me know in the comments. Is she holding a baby right here? Yeah, I mean they obviously had to shoot this, so I don't know if this is like a reference to an old Japanese show or something. But please let me know in the comments if you know where this is from, unless this is just made specifically for the anime, which I kind of don't. I don't think they would go that far. I would think they would actually put like a reference or some sort in that video. I mentioned this in the reaction. I do love the fact that Shinpei is talking to himself more and more, and we're getting this visualization of his other self, his inner self outside of his body, just talking, just like this back and forth banter between himself. I kind of like that. I kind of like that aspect of Shinpei's character. And especially connects with some of the themes of the show, like one's individuality and like the idea of having another self and essentially doing the same things that you do, but not being yourself. Yeah, great stuff, and the fact that we are getting more and more of that kind of makes me excited for future episodes, especially when Shinpei is like deducing and like figuring stuff out, and then having to talk to himself, having this banter. I really love that. Next, I would also want to compliment again the direction, but also the tension building and the way they are framing some stuff and the way some of these scenes are moving. This scene in particular, really well done. The use of shadows, because now that we know that shadows are like a really bad thing in the show, right? So dark places, dark stuff, is already would already give anybody a psychological response of yes, danger, right? But adding the fact that actual shadows could potentially kill you, and then here, especially with the way the scene is directed, well, how slowly Shinpei kind of turns around trying to find the light, and as he is about to turn the lights on, the flash happens. Bam. Great stuff. The tension, the build up, everything is so good. love the direction in the scene. And I loved some of the quick cuts between, you know, why am I forgetting her name? Why am I forgetting her name? Shiori, was it? Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, loved the way they kept cutting between her legs. That kind of came out wrong. The way I said it. Don't take that out of context. But these like sort of match cuts between her legs in the shadow and then cutting straight into the light. Ooh, solid stuff. Solid stuff. Yeah, great scene overall. Moving on, we saw the poster for the festival event here, and then in this scene, the guy mentions, you know, like this conversation is essentially leading up to Shinpei asking about, you know, the size of the lady's boob, right? And it kind of ties back into the first episode where, you know, in the restaurant they were talking, and then he asked Shinpei, you know, like, were you talking about, you know, weren't you asking, you know, where that lady was, you know, with the big boobs, you know, earlier this morning? And it kind of messed with my head a bit, because I'm like, wait a minute. So in the first episode, that is the shadow talking. That is the shadow asking, right? But now, it's actually the real Shinpei who is talking. That kind of messed me up a bit. Like, is there more to the time travel stuff? But I think this just goes more towards like the idea of, yeah, both the shadow and the, you know, the real person. Or, well, in this case, the actual shadow himself, right? The actual shadow has sort of a semblance of the real person and would act kind of similar or identical to this, you know, to the way the real person would do. So seeing Shinpei actually, you know, mimicking the way the shadow is doing actually brings up some like interesting concept and interesting like ideas. Like in this case, you know, like, can you discern between what is real and what is not, you know, because sometimes, you know, the fake can actually prove just as good as the real one, right? I don't know, it messed my brain up just a bit, but thinking about it would actually make sense and kind of goes more into the theory and the theme of, you know, like, yeah, they are replicas, you know, they're not really you, but at the same time they will mimic and they will do the exact same thing that you would do. So in that sense, the question is, you know, like, if a shadow does something maybe a bit, you know, weird, and maybe if the shadow does something that you would say you would never done, would you though, right? The shadow is basically a mimic of yourself. The shadow is basically you in a sense. So if the shadow does something, would you have done the same thing as well? That is an interesting question, and I love that the show is kind of like tackling just a tiny bit on that. Yeah, unless there is some time traveling shenanigans going on here and there's more to the loop, which, you know, who knows. But moving on, now that we have basically progressed the story further and basically learned more information and kind of prevent some things happening, we can safely assume that the police officer, keep forgetting his name, but the police officer here is the real deal. This is not the shadow, because obviously in the previous episode and in the previous timeline, in the previous loop, the officer dies because he went to go to Mio, right? But in this scenario, that never happened. Can't say the same thing about So though. because right now I'm still like 60% certain that this is actually a shadow, and it's just playing a really long game at the moment. But this can also just be, you know, the real So, which again we don't know. Even our characters don't know. Even Shinpei still doesn't, you know, fully 100% believe him, right? So, still looking out for So, still kind of like still cautious about him, essentially. We can still trust Mio in this sense. I think Mio, for the most part, is going to be very trustworthy in terms of like, is she or is she not? Because, you know, again, you know, she's only the shadow because of, you know, the first episode, and ever since then she is not. But everybody else we don't know yet, because we don't know what happened to them prior to meeting them in this episode. So I love you, buddy, but I don't trust you yet. Even with all this even with all these codes and everything, nah, I still don't 100% trust you yet. You gotta win me back somehow. Especially after like this specific moment that happened in this scene. Where is it? Yeah, especially after like this shot where they are purposefully hiding him. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't trust you. And you seem to awfully know a lot as well, so I don't know, dude. I don't know. And I've also mentioned this. Like, I could be reaching here, but So is wearing like a black yukata. Come on. Why is it trying to be obvious? I don't understand. Why is it trying to be obvious? It's like the show is telling us that, hey, you know, shadow. I don't know, man. I don't know. I still think that So is actually a shadow right now, but you know, again, I have to see. I have to see, you know, the next episode to fully determine whether or not he could be trusted. But I 100% don't trust him right now. And then we arrive at the festival, and then these two started talking about their relation. Not with each other, obviously, but with Mio. Interesting. So we basically got confirmation that So kind of have feelings for Mio. But what about Shinpei? Does Shinpei have feelings for Mio as well? We don't know. I mean, they're not related by blood or anything, you know. But again, he sees her as family. Mio kind of didn't take that answer very lightly, especially with her reaction, right? So I don't know. We can see a bit of a divide between these characters, especially, you know, in terms of like their relationship with one another, which I can see being developed as a subplot, but it's still underdeveloped right now. So who knows what will happen in the future. And then we reach the final end of the episode, and it seems for some reason Ushio is just walking around, and then Shinpei finds her. The question is, what's the deal here? What is going on? We know Ushio is dead, but we also know that Ushio somehow can communicate with Shinpei when he is dying. So we cannot rule the possibility that Ushio could also manifest herself to meet Shinpei, because again, like I said, or like what the show said, or more specifically what Ushio said herself, find me, protect Mio. and we still wonder like what this find me actually means. Is this it? Or is this still the shadow? Because we obviously saw her shadow. That is basically a given, right? So this could be a shadow. This could also be the real Ushio, because as far as I am concerned, I don't even know whether or not if Ushio is actually a human or not. Because again, you know, first opening scene of the story, Ushio gave him the eye, and we still don't know what this eye signifies. I've mentioned this. The eye can actually be like powerful or magical in a sense, and could actually give Shinpei the power to actually see certain things we don't know yet. Could this be it? Could Shinpei actually see Ushio because of his eyes? Is this actually Ushio? Or is this the shadow? Because the way this is lit, the way this scene is being portrayed right now, Ushio is very much dark. He is very much in the dark. Nice rim light, but you're mostly seeing her shadow, so her silhouette even. So yeah, this is a show that I can't really make like foundational predictions yet, because 3 episodes in, we don't have that much information yet, obviously, because the characters themselves still don't know what the fuck is going on. So even I am still unsure what is going on. I can make assumptions, but I cannot make like further predictions. So yeah, that is it for Summertime Rendering episode 3. Hope you guys enjoyed my reaction. Hope you guys enjoyed my discussion as well. If you do, hit the like and subscribe. And if you want to support me, again, Patreon is the way to go. Links are also in the description. And with that being said, thank you all so much, and I will see you all next week for the next episode. Take care, guys.